The difficulty in proving certain types of injuries after an accident can depend on the nature of those injuries. And there's generally two different types of injuries that we see for our personal injury clients. The first type is what's called an objective injury. Those objective injuries are things that you can see, and that's where the name comes from. So they'll be like a broken bone or a fractured wrist, something like that. That'll show up on imaging that we can see concretely you were injured as a result of the accident. The other type of injuries are subjective injuries, and those are things where they're subjective complaints that you have as the injured party about what is bothering you, but there may not be any objective findings to prove that there's something wrong. Now, obviously those subjective injuries are still real injuries. They just become a little bit more difficult to prove because we don't have some sort of unbiased objective finding that we can point to show that the injury is real. Even though subjective injuries don't necessarily have a test that we can point to say that you're injured, there's still other ways that we can prove that you're injured. The first comes down to the information we see in the medical records and what you're talking about with your providers. So if you do have a subjective injury, it's always important to make sure that your doctor knows about what you're feeling and where that pain is coming from. And especially if you have multiple areas of your body that are bothering you, it's important to always highlight everything that's bothering you, not just the area with the worst pain. So that's one of the ways we can prove subjective injuries is based on the medical records. Sometimes it's something where we will have to talk to a doctor too to confirm that the injury was in fact real, even if we don't have the hard proof for it. But that can always come depending on the type of case and injuries. Examples of other subjective injuries can be, general pain in your body, a concussion. Sometimes we can't see exactly on imaging that anything is wrong, but you have the concussive symptoms. And that's where a lot of the basis for proving subjective injury can come from as well, is what the injury complaints are, because doctors are obviously very well trained in identifying injuries based off your symptoms and complaints. Other examples that I can think of subjective injuries would be, a sore leg, or, your back is sore, but there's not anything on the imaging that explains why. They're also referred to as sprain strain injuries, which are just a little bit different than having a broken bone or disc herniation. Even if the injury isn't objective, that doesn't mean that it's not important and it's not painful and difficult to go through. It just changes our analysis a little bit about how we have to go about proving it and getting you the compensation you deserve.